What is up, Broncos country? The Buckem crew is back with another phenomenal episode. The preseason finale is amongst us. It is here. The regular season is amongst us. I'm excited. Kinley, my boy, what about you? How excited are you about this?
Ooh, I'll be at the game this week. I'll be in New Orleans at the game, so can't wait to see him live. Even though it's a preseason game, still gonna be able to watch some competition out there. It's football. My favorite team's in town, so let's get it.
And remember, if it ain't about the Broncos,
Buckem.
Okay, let's go.
I am your host, Fanatic Jack. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am excited to finally get a taste of the regular season. It's on the horizon with one more game left to go, as we mentioned, with the New Orleans Saints. But first, we had some big news drop yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, with a big trade that stirred a lot of folks. It was the talk on the Twitter timeline specifically, and all throughout Broncos country as to whether Vele, the wide receiver, would be traded. And a lot of folks had said that it wasn't possible, but there's no such thing as impossible, right? If the right deal falls into your lap. And what did we get, McKinley? What did we get for Mr. Vele?
Man, we got a 2026 fourth round pick. Also a 2027 seventh round pick. You can't pass that up. You just can't. What? Especially with how Pat Bryant and Troy Franklin have emerged.
But you're telling me though, we got a fourth and a seventh for who just last season and last year's draft was a seventh round pick. We got more for Devon Vele than a Jerry Jeudy the previous other season that we had last offseason, excuse me. That is some work. Phenomenal. Let me give George Payton a round of applause.
That man klepto. Because he robbing everything. Taking everything.
If I had a ski mask, I would say this is robbery. I'd be putting on my mask and,
Man. Shout out to George, man. Shout out to George because this, we had talked about it. We said, when you had posted, the clip of you going on Manly Broncos and saying that, Devon Vele has a potential of being traded.
It's a discussion that we would look at.
It could be a discussion. I'm sitting here, like we talked about, said the only way they probably do it is if they get like a crazy offer, which I doubt would happen. But you know what? New Orleans proves me wrong. They like, hey, Kinley, hold my beer. We got something for y'all.
Yeah, dude. And it's so amazing because it's like we drafted Pat Bryant this year in the third round. And the way he's just flourished and performed within this Broncos offense in the organization through training camp, OTAs, preseason, you name it. It's almost like he really made Devon Vele expendable, thank you for Devon Vele for what he provided to us, of course we'll miss him. But it is kind of a shocker, but I think I love the ceiling a little bit better, if I'm being honest, in a Pat Bryant. And then you also, who we've mentioned many times, Troy Franklin. Those two guys changed the game for the Broncos this offseason and for this offense. They really have. So I'm excited, but again, thanks to Devon Vele, it is kind of bittersweet, you know what I mean? Because you get to see our guys in Troy Franklin and Pat Bryant really contribute to this offense. And in the same breath, though, I mean, we're saying bye to somebody else, who we didn't really know if it would be, if it was possible. Many didn't think it was,
Many, damn near everybody.
Stop. I'm being nice.
I mean, let's be honest. Like nobody in Broncos country thought that the Saints would offer, or any team would offer, more than a 6th-round pick for Vele. Like even Sean Payton said it in his press conference today. Like when George told him, "Hey, they're offering the 4th and the 7th," it was a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer.
You immediately you run over there.
Yeah,
private jet. I mean,
thank them personally in their face.
Give me those draft picks.
Right. Let me take that. I mean,
if the draft picks were tangible, I'd be going over.
Yeah, like it's just with how Troy and Pat, like you said, they made him expendable. So, and we're probably not done. Who knows?
They're probably not done, and what we're going to get into that right now.
Yep.
With this roster, ladies and gentlemen. But like one thing I do want to hit on is like, can we just throw out our 53-man projection roster that we just did on the previous episode? And not only just us, but a lot of like media platforms, that are like, big time. They could just throw theirs out as well, because it's like Devon Vele was on many. So anyways, with that being said, let's tackle the wide receivers, and I'll pull that up real quick here. For you guys, the wide receivers. Give me a second. It's, technical difficulties, but that's okay. We just get through it together. Speaking of wide receivers, give me some names, though, as I pull it up, as to which guys you want to see potentially make this roster, especially going into the preseason.
Courtney Jackson, I would love for him to make this team, because he's a returner. Like he's dynamic, he's super fast, and he made every opportunity he had in the game and versus Arizona, and he looks like he can be a contribute to offense, contribute to special teams, and he could essentially take over Marvin Mims's role, and Marvin Mims can kind of focus on being that receiver guy. But I mean, I know Marvin Mims is an all-pro returner and everything, but I know he wants to be more, So Courtney Jackson seems like he would be the perfect candidate for the job. I know there's been talk. I've seen a lot on the timeline today about A.T. Perry being that 6th receiver spot. I know he's been battling, I believe, an ankle injury. And I think now he's back to being healthy. Sean Payton today said that, the goal is 6 wide receivers. That's the goal, and one may not dress. So we'll see. But those will be the only 2 guys I would like in that 6th spot: A.T. Perry or Courtney Jackson. What about you?
Those are guys that I have my eye on. I also like Jerwan Newton quite a bit. Joaquin Davis. Man, this is really a tough decision if I'm going into this last preseason game. But I honestly think Sean Payton already has a good idea of who's going to be on this roster at this point in time. I think a lot of it is going to be more of like an audition, maybe for other teams to own in, to maybe get some trade capital. Like maybe other guys that we trade, like say, does Jaleel McLaughlin or Audric Estime enter the trade discussion next for this team? I mean, we touched on wide receivers, but now we're looking at the running back room. There's a lot of mouths to feed there too, and there's some talent that we do have in that room, and it's like I've said before, Jaleel McLaughlin is making it very difficult. Also, congratulations to him welcoming their child.
Congrats on the baby.
He was off, I think the last practice or whatever the case was. But anyways, not to get too off topic, Jaleel McLaughlin's a guy that I raise my eyebrows for, because you can maybe get a little bit more instead of just cutting him, right? I think you could get something more for him than, say, Audric Estime, in my opinion. What do you feel, bro?
I mean, maybe. I don't really know. I think they kind of offer like maybe the same value. Like you maybe get a pick above, like a round above with a McLaughlin, which I mean it's not bad. You know what I mean. With Estime, man, would be happy with a 7th, to be honest. He's at the back end, you know, and if you want to get something versus nothing versus just cutting him, and you know, besides trying to bring him back on the practice squad, I'm sure they would want to do that. But I don't know, man. I have a feeling that, you know, Jaleel makes the team over Blake Watson, even though I wouldn't like it. Like, I just believe Blake Watson's the better back, and we're gonna see come this preseason game, because I have a feeling they both will play.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, it's gonna be who wants it more. You know what I'm saying? So Blake Watson, Jaleel, and probably Bidet too. We can't just pencil in Bidet there, but it looks promising that he makes the roster. I will say that.
Yeah.
So I guess I would say that. So I would say, like, you know, that last spot is out of McLaughlin, Watson, and Estime, and I'm not even penciling Estime. The battle is going to be between McLaughlin and Watson, to be honest.
And I agree with that notion with you. You and I were talking just a little bit ago off camera too. Nate Atkins is a guy that's going to be making this roster, right? Sean Payton mentioned. Do you want to give the viewers a little bit of touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, he won't go on short-term IR. Sean Payton said he should be ready by week 2, week 3, so he'll be part of the 53. You know, so what does that mean for? Does that mean we keep 3 tight ends, and we're just gonna elevate Michael Burton and that other fullback that we signed off, like, you know, put them on the practice squad, elevate them for week 1 or something like that until Atkins is ready? We'll definitely see. Sean Payton did mention today that, you know, he was talking about the Vele trade, and he mentioned how, you know, that a few weeks ago he did say that there's going to be a couple of guys on this roster that play for other teams, and Vele was one of them. So
Wow.
there could be possibly more trades coming, you know, and could we see a Jaleel? You know, could we see an Estime? Could, you know, like, there could be more trades. You know, we have, you know, one more preseason game to go, and we'll find out, you know, because who knows? They're probably talking during the game, before the game, after the game. You know, I know they have a certain day to get the roster down all the way to 53, but yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Let's flip the script to the defense, if you don't mind. And there's a guy that you kind of pointed out to me, and Jordan Turner, that could potentially make this roster. What do you think?
Yes, I feel like him and Kerryon Reed are not making it easy for Justin Chouinard and possibly Lavelle Bailey. Like, they have made a good impression to me, to be honest with you. And just seeing how they ball out in the preseason, Jordan Turner is so fast, so physical, you know, and if he puts it together and has a great game versus New Orleans, like, it's going to be hard to stash him on the practice squad. If he's going to put out that much tape, and he's put out good tape so far. Same thing with Kerryon Reed. You know, they put out good tape, and it's going to be tough. You know what I'm saying? So if one of them has a good game, or both has a good game, I'm not penciling in Justin Chouinard on the roster, because like, I know they say, well, Justin Chouinard's great on special teams and all that. Well, I'm sure, you know, if they want to be on the team, they're going to have to play special teams, and a lot of special teams. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to keep a guy on the roster just because he's good at special teams. When you drafted, you know, a Quay Robinson for special teams, you know, you got others who play special teams and all that. You're going to have Sam Franklin, who plays special teams, J.L. Skinner, who's plays special teams. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to keep a linebacker just because, he's good at special teams. You know what I'm saying? One of those guys, you say, hey, you know, you're making a 53, but we want you to make an impact on special teams, and I'm sure they'll do it. You know what I'm saying? Younger and cheaper too. So that's something you just got to keep an eye on. I'm not saying Justin Chouinard is going to be off the roster. I'm just saying they're making it hard. That's all I'm saying.
Very hard. I mean, and then looking at some of the D linemen, I'm kind of wondering, like, Jordan Jackson, who was on the roster last season, right? And then you have Razarika. Do those guys make the roster, kind of thing? That's going to be an interesting thing to see. But not so much just making the roster. I think you tune into Saturday of potential guys who can actually, you can develop and have like a pipeline, you know, and develop on the practice squad. And you're also looking around the league, you know, at other teams, you know, that might follow maybe some talent that you liked in the draft that you couldn't get your hands on at that time, and now they all of a sudden they're hitting the wire, and you can pick up somebody that you like a little bit better that you feel fits your scheme. or what have you. So it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens with this roster, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it could be a first time in a long time where we don't have an undrafted guy make it. Make
And that's
the 53.
and that's the crazy thing, because you and I know, and we've discussed this, is just the Broncos having that track record of developing. I mean, having undrafted free agents. It's crazy. But you know what, Kinley? It also really speaks to the talent and the depth that we have on this roster, to where now you're looking at this roster as a whole, and you're like, man, I like their depth. And like I said, you look at the pipeline. You have a pipeline on the practice squad, and you develop those guys. So it's a different point of where we're at right now. And it's crazy how fast Sean Payton, George Payton, and I mean, they've worked seamlessly as a team to really flip the script in Denver. And, so much to where, national media, they got their eyes on us now. You know what I mean?
They're showing us respect now.
We're deep in a lot of positions on this roster. We've talked on the running back. We've talked, on the wide receiver room a lot. We spent a lot of time, but damn, you could look at the edge room, man. That's some mouths to feed on that side. And what depth do we have there as well? The cornerback room. Are you going to keep 5 or 6?
You're definitely keeping 5. I don't see you keeping 6 cornerbacks. I think you got the guys that you got in PS2, Riley Moss, Jaquan, Barron, and Chris Abrams drain. Like I don't see Mathis making it. I don't see us keeping 6 corners. Excuse me. But the one thing I'm kind of interested in, if we keep 5 inside linebackers, because if so, that would be interesting. Because what do you do when Drew Sanders comes back? Who do you boot if we're only keeping 4? Or do you just decide to boot Drew? So, I guess we'll see. We can't really do roster. We're not doing roster predictions because, Sean Payton, they just say, oh, y'all think y'all know. Let me give y'all a big,
Well, we just tried our roster prediction and we totally failed. Yeah. Let's be real. Let's call it what it is. We failed. I got egg on my face still from that last episode. Don't mind me.
Right.
That's where it is, bro. That's where we're at. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Sean Payton is definitely a sneaky genius, in my opinion. Yeah. So, man, I'm excited though. But you talked about Sean Payton alluding to having some starters play, and was that on offense, defense?
I think he was asked the question if Greenlaw and Singleton like playing on the turf, if it worries him and stuff like that. I don't think he decided if he was going to play him yet or not, but I know he did say some of the starters will play a series, 8 to 10 plays, like however long that first series is, especially if it leads to a scoring drive. But I'm willing to see Dre Greenlaw out there. I know I've said that Dre Greenlaw doesn't have anything to prove to me, but I think it's the fan in me, a fan of him, and I'm going to the game. Like I'd love to see it up close and in person. So I don't mind. I don't mind it at all. And but pull them right after the first series. Let them get a series. Let them get let them get accolades to some game time speed and all of that. Let them thump people around and stuff. But after that, I'm ready to see these battles, these depth battles. That's coming. I'm ready to see Jaleel versus Blake. I'm ready to see Jordan Turner and Kerryon Reed versus Lavelle Bailey and Justin Sternard. I'm ready to see if Courtney Jackson, and I don't know if A.T. Perry's playing or not, like who's going to get the edge, who's going to do more in the game. My guy, Caden Purescorn, I really like him, even though I feel like everybody's just penciling in Loner for the roster because of the potential, but I feel like Prescorn can contribute now and is better now. And if you decide to stash Prescorn, still like you can still develop him, like you can make him even better than he is now. So I'm just ready to see that. I haven't been this excited about depth battles. Yeah. I don't think I've ever been this excited before, and I've been a fan for 25 plus years. Like, I don't think I've ever been this excited for depth. And just the fact that all these battles are going to go down, like, and I'm going to be seeing it live and in person. So, I'm super excited for that. And I really can't wait for it.
And one thing too, Kinley, to really touch on too, man, is like we're not just going to be looking at other like potential practice squad guys. What if there's some veterans that become available that help improve this roster? Like the tight end position, we look maybe at
Yeah.
a veteran tight end and like really help put the fans' mind at ease. Maybe in just Sean Payton as well. You want to trust your guys and what you have, and you can always improve this roster. Of adding veterans, or whatever. This roster is far from a finished product. I'm excited to see what it'll be like when it is a finished product. But then you can also look at linebackers too. Can we bring in another veteran? I mean, remember when Jermaine Pratt was um, on free agency? That was a guy that I was pounding the table for. That I would have really liked to have had. So maybe someone else becomes available, maybe of that caliber if we're lucky.
Well, I completely agree with you because I completely agree with you because now we're sitting here hoping that these UDFAs can make the team and maybe possibly contribute and be a depth piece. You know what I'm saying? We're saying that for tight ends, we're saying it for linebackers. And so I definitely see us looking around the league, especially like cuts who wants out and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's a great point. I definitely see us doing that. That way we won't be sitting here putting all our faith in these nothing's wrong with them, UDFAs, but I'm saying like, to make the position more comfortable for everyone.
You know what you're getting, I think, because they have more film, they've been in the league.
Right.
Rather than just improving guys, I mean,
exactly.
So it's just some food for thought, I think, for the viewers and, just in general for us. And I'm like, that's something that we can't overlook as well, So, I mean, and we don't, the first game, what, September 9th? Is that opening day against the Titans?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be in Colorado.
Yeah, I'm excited
for you, the home opener. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I really want to make a game this season, make it to a game in Denver. I'm really eyeballing maybe Cincinnati or Dallas. But if I don't, it's all good. I still got love. I've still got love for Broncos country. They're still my team regardless.
Exactly.
I've actually been lucky enough to go back-to-back seasons, the past 2 seasons, to watch a game. So, I can't be too greedy, but maybe I can. I don't know.
Yep.
Maybe I'll just max out my credit card, and figure a way, what I mean? Swipe. So no, but dude, this was a good discussion. I'm glad you and I were able to talk a little ball today and talk with the fans and give them some of our thoughts as a Buckem crew. We're fans as well. We're not analysts, not reporters, but I mean, I think we do a good job for what we are.
Yep.
So, any final last thoughts that you may have for
I don't have any final thoughts. I'm ready for this preseason game. I'm ready to get there. I leave for New Orleans tomorrow, right after work. So I'm gonna be out there. But other than that, Broncos country, it's a great discussion for today. Follow our page. I believe we are at 196, 197 subscribers. Our goal was 200 for the start of the season. So help us get there. Follow us on TikTok at Buckem Pod. Follow us on Twitter at Buckem Pod. That's all we got for today. I'm your boy Kinley, my guy Dak. And remember, if it ain't about the Broncos,
Buckem.
Peace.